Might stay hot, no stopping, no flopping. Lawn chair sports where the chat runs wild. Pull up, tune in, it's the podcast style.
All right, guys, we're going to get into it. We got Lawn Chair Sports. This is the episode from the in-laws' house. We are in the room where we open presents. Going to miss Andy on this episode. We're going to go solo here, but we had to touch because this weekend was a phenomenal weekend of football. A lot going on. We have Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua. We have Andrew Tate getting beaten by no one. There's a lot to cover here. Definitely going to miss Andy. Andy, hope you're having a Merry Christmas, my man, but we're going to jump right into it. So a lot of drama this weekend. Steelers versus Lions, one of the wildest endings of the year. I don't think the Lions even still know what happened out there. So I don't know if you saw it, but at the end of the game, 2 pass interference calls on the offense in the last 30 seconds. That is insane. That's one of the first times that's ever happened. The rule in question, though, was because Amon-Ra St. Brown, even though he did the offensive pass interference, he pitched it back to Jared Goff. Jared Goff does a heroic move, jumps into the end zone. The Lions are thinking, okay, we know it's offensive pass interference, but because we got the touchdown, that'll give us one more play and one more shot at the end zone. But no, Dan Campbell did not know the rules. The Lions did not know the rules, and the game was over. Aaron Rodgers then proceeds to give a very weird on-the-field interview. The Steelers look confused. They didn't even look excited. But at the end of the day, the Lions are in trouble. Okay, this is now a 6% chance for the Lions to make the playoffs this year. I don't think that anyone had that on their bingo card for the NFC, that the Lions would be struggling to get in the playoffs, especially when Minnesota isn't even good this year. But let's just go over some of the numbers. So Lions are the first team in 30 years to have 2 offensive pass interference penalties enforced in the last 30 seconds of the game. So it begs the question, on the first touchdown to Amon-Ra St. Brown that was called back, was that actually a pick or not? Because I think the receiver was actually running his route perfectly, and honestly, I think the defender should have been able to go over the top or underneath. The fact that the defender ran into him shouldn't just mean it was offensive pass interference. I think the NFL needs to really address a lot of this in the offseason with the refs, because the refs now are deciding games, and it's not fun to watch football when refs are deciding games. So honestly, they need to get that together. But honestly, the Lions defense just wasn't there. The Steelers ran for 230 yards on the ground, an absolute dominant performance by Warren on the ground. And the Lions committed 3 penalties from the 1-yard line in the final 25 seconds. That's unacceptable from a Dan Campbell coached team. So Lions are in trouble. The Steelers are fighting for the playoffs right now, and they look like they're in good condition to make the playoffs run again this year, which is incredible. Tomlin continues his streak. That's 19 straight seasons that Mike Tomlin has finished above 500. Congratulations. That's very impressive. It is funny, though, whenever I talk to a Steelers fan, they still want the guy fired, which is nuts to me. All this guy does is have winning seasons in your city, and you guys want him gone. You need to figure yourself out. I mean, I think Steelers fans have been a little bit spoiled and privileged their entire football career. If they're wanting a guy who continues to win out of Pittsburgh, that's insane. Mike Tomlin is a great football coach, and he's doing it with basically no namers. There is one more thing from this game that I wanted to talk about, and that is DK Metcalf being an absolute idiot on the sidelines. I don't care what this guy was saying to you. You can't go up to a guy in the stands, grab him by the shirt, and then throw a punch. That's just unacceptable. DK, after the game, said he was saying words that you would expect him to be saying that would have that reaction. The fan said, no, I did not say that. I actually have it on video. I was calling him by his birth name, and DK Metcalf just didn't like that. I don't know where the truth lies on this one, but I do know one thing. DK, you got to just ignore the fans, especially in Detroit. Just ignore the fans, sit down, win the football game, and wave to them on the way out. That's how you get back. But NFL players going into the stands, Lamar Jackson did it earlier in the season to a Bills fan, and now DK Metcalf's doing it again to a Detroit Lions fan. Not a good look for the NFL. Goodell needs to figure that out immediately and probably give a hefty suspension to DK Metcalf. All right, so let's see what else we got going on. All right, so over the weekend, too, we had, and everyone kind of knew this was coming, but we had Jake Paul against Anthony Joshua a true underdog story, right? Jake Paul, YouTuber back in the day, into the fight game. No one takes him seriously. Gets some wins over some UFC guys, but never really faced that boxing competitor. He faced Tyson Fury's brother, lost that on a decision, but now you literally have one of the best boxers in the last 20 years in Anthony Joshua, who is, by the way, a huge guy. I mean, the guy's like 6'6", 270 pounds of pure muscle. I got to give props to Jake Paul on this one. Even though he got his jaw broken in the 6th round, this guy made it to the 6th round with one of the best heavyweights of our era. That is impressive. I know he was dancing around the ring, but he delivered some shots. He took a lot of shots, and it was a boring fight. I think the YouTube boxing experiment is over. It has reached the pinnacle. Once you actually fight a heavyweight that's kind of not in his prime, but just out of his prime and not an old guy like Mike Tyson the last time Jake Paul fought, I think the experiment's over. Every time these fights happen, the YouTubers are very, very good at getting the hype of the fight built up. It makes you want to watch. It makes you want to bet on it. It's free on Netflix, so it's very easy to watch. It's a genius move by these Paul brothers. But this one, for me, it kind of ended it. It was a really boring fight. They danced around the whole time. I miss the sanctity of boxing. I miss the specialness of boxers actually caring about the craft, growing up in tough times and having to earn their way to become a top boxer in a big event, in a main card. I get the money angle from the YouTubers, and hey, I'm to blame because I've tuned into basically every one of these fights, but I think it's over. Okay, now that we know that he's actually never going to compete and actually be a world champion, that whole experiment, kind of the luster on it has worn off. So I think that that's going to be the last YouTube fight we see with a big-time boxer. Also, kind of embarrassing for Anthony Joshua to even have lasted that long in the ring. If you're him, obviously you got the win. That's kind of expected. But 6 rounds with a YouTuber, not the best look. But he is kind of on his way down overall. There was another one. So this was Misfit Boxings in Dubai. They had Chase Damore, who's an absolute no-name from some celebrity Netflix reality show, versus Andrew Tate. Now, the interesting thing with this one is Andrew Tate always talks about how he's the top G, the true dog. He was a champion kickboxer. He got absolutely embarrassed by this guy who has basically no boxing experience. And if you've seen him throwing punches in his previous matches, it's got to make the loss even more terrible for your boy Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate comes onto the internet, acts like he's this dude, smokes cigars, has all this money. To me, he's just kind of like a convict who lives in Romania who does illegal activities and sells classes online. He's actually the epitome of what you don't want to be as a guy. Andrew Tate, yes, he says some things that are good for the youth. That's awesome. People want to be more manly. That's great. But this guy's kind of a jerk, and I'm really glad to see him just get absolutely pummeled by a guy who's not even a professional boxer. I don't know how you could say you're a professional kickboxer and then just get your ass handed to you in the way he did. After the fight, he looked like a puffer fish. That's how much damage this guy did to his face. So really tough for him. And then he's tweeting all about how it wasn't even that bad. He was actually a winner. He's a winner in life. No, man, you lost. You're not a winner. Actually, it was kind of embarrassing. So good to see him go down, but I'm done. I'm not watching any more of this fake boxing. I want some real boxing. Can anyone in the comments even name 5 real boxers? I want the promoters to actually start promoting real boxing again. That is what I want. All right, let's go back to the NFL. So NFL playoff picture is completely all over the place right now. Who clinched this week? So the Bears are now in the playoffs, beating the Packers 22-16 in overtime. 49ers clinched the playoffs with that Lions loss, and the Patriots clinched the playoffs with that big comeback win over the Ravens on Sunday Night Football. Seahawks are in there, Eagles, Broncos, and Rams. Everybody's clinched. But after that, it's kind of chaos right now in the NFL. So as we sit AFC standings, we got Broncos at number 1, Patriots at number 2, Jaguars, Steelers, Chargers, Bills, Texans. Crazy that the Bills at 11-4 going into week 17 are 6th place in the AFC. I don't think anyone saw that coming. And right now the teams fighting for it are the Colts, the Ravens. The Colts and the Ravens are basically battling for the last spot here. So it'll be really interesting to see what comes up in this last couple of weeks. I think probably you'll see the Colts kind of push it through. with Phillip Rivers. Old man Rivers, man. This guy is an absolute stud. I think he brings consistency to that quarterback position. And I think the Texans might be the underdog in this whole lineup here. Their defense is looking absolutely phenomenal right now. But overall, we're going to have some exciting games in the AFC. NFC, the Lions are now out. They have a 6% playoff odds right now, and they need to win out, and the Packers just absolutely collapse here. But right now, we got the Seahawks number 1, Bears number 2, Eagles, Panthers, Rams, 49ers, and Packers. Obviously, the biggest surprise on this list is the Panthers. They started off very slow, and then Canella just has the boys absolutely roaming. Bryce Young is back. Carolina is dancing right now. They are ranked literally 4th in the NFC, which is insane. No one thought that was coming. So we'll see. But right now the story is the Lions just absolutely collapsing. With this wild year has become, no one really knows who the hell is going to be MVP this year. So Josh Allen was my favorite all year long. I think he's been playing great football. If you look definitionally at what most valuable player actually means, I still think Josh Allen is definitely the most valuable player in the NFL. If you took him off the team, they're not winning one game. The Bills do not have a good football team this year. They just have a really good quarterback that has won them every single game that they've won this year. So in terms of valuable to the team, I think Josh Allen, hands down, is the most valuable quarterback in the league. But it looks like right now the two front runners are Matthew Stafford at minus 220 odds and Drake Maye at plus 300. So Matthew Stafford's stats: 37 passing TDs, leads the NFL, 3,722 passing yards, second in the NFL, only 5 interceptions all year. And then the Rams were number 1 all year until that crazy loss to Seattle. He would be the oldest MVP in league history at age 37, which would it would actually tie Y.A. Tittle, for those of you NFL buffs out there. But the guy right on his heels nipping, and a lot of people are saying that he should actually be MVP, is Drake Maye. Drake Maye, 70% completion percentage, best in the NFL, almost 4,000 yards passing. He's led the Pats to 12-3, a potentially number 1 seed in the AFC, and it's looking like an AFC title. No one thought the Patriots were going to be this good this year. Vrabel obviously came in and brought a completely different attitude to the locker room. But Drake Maye's been playing lights-out football. He had some phenomenal throws on Sunday Night Football against the Ravens. He dropped that one pass about 60 yards in the air over the right shoulder to his receiver for a comeback to go down 3 in Baltimore. So Drake Maye's playing some absolutely football, but I'm sticking my laurels here. I think if you're looking at just purely what is the definition of the award, it's MVP, which is most valuable player. I think you have to look yourself in the mirror and you have to say it's Josh Allen again this year. Josh Allen is definitely the most valuable player to his football team. I would give him the award back-to-back. Josh Allen, ink it here. All right, so going into the last week of the season, we have a toilet bowl match. We have the Giants versus the Raiders. And basically this game is going to be for the number 1 seed. For the number 1 pick. So what does that mean? If you can't tell me if you're an owner of these teams, you want to win this football game. Having the first pick in the draft can literally change the course of your franchise for the next 20 years and have billions of dollars of impact on the value of these teams. So you're telling me that they're going to actually instruct their teams to win this game and knowingly just trade basically out of the first pick in the draft? It's absolute BS. The NFL should basically just go to a lottery system at this point, because this game, I don't even know who's going to be actually trying. So the people they're going to be playing obviously are going to be backups, and they're going to have their chance to kind of put some stuff on film, so they'll be trying. But man, I feel like if you're a coach and your job's kind of on the line in these next couple of years and you want to get as much talent as you can in the draft, you definitely don't want to win this football game. So it's going to be interesting to see just even what the teams do. Are they going to be going for it on 4th down? Are they going to be calling the right plays on the right downs? Are they going to want to punt more? It's going to be interesting to see, and I think Goodell's going to have to keep his finger on the pulse here to see if one of the teams is tanking or not. Because if I were one of the teams, I would be tanking for that first pick in the draft. There's no question about it. All right, another thing that's really been bothering me is the NBA has stopped caring if you watch these full games. Okay, the NBA has basically openly come out and said that they're more interested in just short form content. They're clip farming. They want Wemby dunks. They want LeBron 3-pointers. They want Luka highlights. They don't care if you're watching these full games. The NBA season has become absolutely insufferable to watch. The first 40 minutes of the game are absolutely pointless until you get to the last 2 minutes. No one's tuning into these games. The starters and the star players aren't even playing. You have people paying thousands of dollars for tickets only to see that the superstar player from their team isn't even suiting up that game because of load management. The NBA is in absolute shambles right now, if you ask me. All their young players, their personalities are completely dead. The post-game interviews that you see with these guys now are so freaking boring to listen to. They are devout of any personalities right now in the NBA. LeBron is so insufferable because we've been listening to him for almost 30 years now. I just don't care what LeBron thinks anymore, right? He's like, they asked him about how he feels playing on Christmas. He's like, actually, I'd rather just stay at home with my family. Well, then just go stay at home with your family, man. No one's preventing you from doing that. If that's actually what you want to do, then save us to have to watch you play half-assed regular season basketball. You know, they tried to do that stupid regular season tournament or NBA midseason cup or whatever. That's the biggest joke I've ever seen in professional sports. I don't know what Adam Silver needs to do to fix the NBA right now, but for me, it's got to be the most boring thing ever. Now, I say this all with the tune of it's also NFL season right now. So once the NFL is over, I'll probably actually want to watch the NBA because there's going to be nothing else on TV. But while the NBA is playing, yeah, it's an absolute snooze fest. So Adam Silver is going to have to definitely figure that out. I'm going to go ahead and give you kind of a couple things that have been on my chest lately about what I'm looking forward to in 2026. Okay, this is what kind of a roundup of what have we done in 2025? Where is Lawn Chair Sports going in 2026? So Lawn Chair Sports started as basically just a text message between me and Andy, and I asked him, hey, I'm going to start a podcast. Do you want to join it with me? And Andy literally just said, sure. So we filmed our first podcast. It was outside in my backyard, and we've kind of grown it to really something special in just under 100 days. So, you know, we've had multiple videos get over 100,000 views. We've had some get as much as 4.4 million views. But the thing that I really want to see us kind of jump from now until that next big jump is we need more content. So we're going to be posting more videos. We're going to have different segments. We're going to have different shows. So we're not just going to have Lawn Chair Sports Show. We're going to have multiple other shows, on the street interviews. Want to kind of get out there in St. Petersburg, Florida too. We're going to do some live podcasts, interview some business owners in the area. I think we really just need to build this from the grassroots. You know, a lot of people online have made insinuations about our name being Lawn Chair Sports, kind of like Barstool Sports. It's not where we got the name from, actually. It's more of just a thought of we want to be more genuine content, basically from the ground level. We're not influenced by any corporation. No one's telling us what we can or can't say. It's just two guys having a good time, and we want that feeling to kind of permeate through the camera. So today's a little weird one, obviously just a solo podcast, but we're excited for what 2026 brings. I personally am hoping for the Lawn Chair Sports Show podcast. I want it to get over 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's my goal in 2026. It's not a crazy thought. You know, we already have 4,600 followers on Instagram, totally organic, just from our videos. But I think YouTube's kind of the next place we want to focus on. Obviously, the shorts are really fun, but the long form content and kind of getting that full context of the show, I think is very important. A lot of times on the shorts, yeah, some of them are a little clickbaity, but you're also not getting the context, and then you're not getting the argument the other person said right after that just because it's a 15-second clip. But 2026 is going to be our year. We're going to keep pumping out content. If you guys haven't already, please like and subscribe. And also, look out. We're going to have a lot more articles on the website as well. We're going to start selling some merch on the online store. And if you have anything else you want to see or you want us to do, you know, just leave it in a comment. We're definitely open to suggestions as well. But another thing that I think is important is if you guys want to kind of join the movement, if you want to be a part of the team, we're looking to definitely bring on some folks in the new year to maybe help with, either content people. We're looking for video editors. We're looking for, people who just want to be a part and see this brand and the vision that I have moving forward. So thank you guys for listening to the solo pod. I know it's not kind of what you're totally used to, but I think we needed to touch on just a couple of the topics. It was a great weekend in the NFL. And hey, have a great weekend and Merry Christmas to all of those out there. I'm over here at the in-laws up in Montreal, so I'll see you guys there.
Might stay hot, no stopping, no flopping. Lawn chair sports where the chat runs wild. Pull up, tune in, it's the podcast style.